Hey everyone, Kim here, Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me for another Mystery Mystic reading. We are finally covering the disappearance of MauraMurray. I've been requested to do this reading ever since I've started doing Mystery Mystic readings on the channel, and that's been a few years now, but no time felt right. Now we're finally sitting down at the reading table and exploring the energies surrounding her disappearance. Maura disappeared on the evening of February 9, 2004, after a car crash on Route 112 near Woodsville, New Hampshire, which is a village in the town of Haverhill. She was a nursing student at the University of Massachusetts Amherst at the time of her disappearance. In November 2003, 3 months before her disappearance, Maura admitted to using a stolen credit card to order food from several restaurants. The criminal charge was to be dismissed after 3 months of good behavior. Maura had experienced emotional stress just 4 days prior to her disappearance. So now we fast forward back to February 2004. And that is because she spoke with her sister. See, her sister had just been discharged after rehab for alcoholism and experienced a relapse. Now, 2 days before Maura's disappearance, she had borrowed her father's Toyota Corolla and struck a guardrail, causing $10,000 in damage to the vehicle, which in 2023, that's equivalent to $16,100. So that was a significant impact, causing significant damage. There was no field sobriety test taken on that day. So if you put it in perspective, she's been involved in 2, I would say, moderate to, serious accidents in terms of the vehicle having some damage, and that happened in a short time span. That gives us some insights as well, and we'll talk more about that in the reading. On February 9th, Maura used MapQuest for driving directions to the Berkshires and Burlington, Vermont. At 1:24 p.m., Maura emailed her work supervisor of the nursing school faculty that she would be out of town for a week due to a death in the family. Now, there was no death. She made it up. However, she packed clothing, toiletries, textbooks, and birth control pills in her car. When her room was later searched, it was discovered she had packed up most of her belongings in boxes, and the artwork was removed from the walls. On top of the boxes was a printed email to her boyfriend indicating there may have been trouble in their relationship. Classes, though, at the university had been canceled due to a snowstorm. Maura drove her black 1996 Saturn sedan to the ATM and withdrew $280, and CCTV showed she was alone. At a nearby liquor store, she purchased about $40 worth of alcoholic beverages, and she was alone per the security footage at the time of the purchase. No one knew exactly where she was headed on February 9th. And sometime after 7 p.m., a Woodsville resident heard a loud thump and noticed Maura's vehicle up against a snowbank. Another motorist stopped and noticed Maura was cold and shivering, but didn't appear to be injured. By 7:46 p.m., the police arrived at the scene, but Maura was not there. It was reported that at a hairpin turn, she went off the road and struck a tree. There are theories as to what happened to Maura. I have intentionally not reviewed them, as I want to see where the cards lead me during this reading. We have a lot to cover, friends. All right, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so let's shuffle the Mildred Payne's Secret Pocket Oracle. Tapping into the energies surrounding what caused her to disappear? What's at play here? We have storm. Comment. Ribbon. Pop it. Rat. Bell. B. Pitchfork. Zoom in. Sorry for that glare. Can't get rid of it, otherwise it'll be dark. Let's try moving the tripod over a little. Let's try that. Okay. All right, so we have here storm card. There was like literally a storm happening, right? I mean, it was snowy conditions, dangerous road conditions, troubled emotions is one of the key words to the storm cloud, the storm card, I should say. Turbulent times. So this is giving me the emotional state that Maura was in the days leading up to her disappearance. It was a turbulent emotional time for her. It was a dangerous time for her to be alone. It was the perfect storm, right? Like literally there was bad weather that was causing the university to close the campus or cancel the lectures or what have you. So there was no school in session. She tells her supervisor that she's going to be away for a week anyway for a death in the family that didn't happen. So we're already seeing the stage set, and she was involved in a couple of motor vehicle accidents. Now, I mentioned in the introduction that I said I wanted to talk a little bit more about that. And these cards now affirm the storm and comet that she was on a collision course of sorts. When I used to be a claims adjuster and I handled auto claims for years, and people who would be involved in accidents within days apart, especially accidents that they are liable for or at fault for, usually when I would talk to the person, the driver, they would admit to me that they've been in a lot of stress, under a lot of stress. They, there's something that happened. They're not in the right emotional or mental state leading up to these multiple accidents. And the reason why I would know that is because the insurance company I worked for had a thing where they liked the adjusters who handled the first claim or first accident to handle the other ones, to investigate them all together. So I could see these patterns. And so that stood out to me. Now, a couple of things. It could mean maybe she sustained a concussion during that bigger accident with her father's car. And she could have been in a not so mentally healthy state, like physically healthy state, emotional. Or there's something even more that was brewing inside of her. And maybe your family could speak a bit more about that. We, in the intro, went through all that was going on in the 3 months leading up to her disappearance, in the days leading up to her disappearance. So all that to say, her emotional state was turbulent. And then we move on to the comment card. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. Disaster. turmoil, catastrophe, destruction, war, a bad omen. These are the keywords to this card, to the comment card. So this young lady was on a trajectory of destruction. The keywords here that stand together is like torment and turmoil, disaster. Feeling hopeless. Feeling hopeless. And yet again, having more evidence more evidence that her world is falling apart, with the accident leading like right before her disappearance at 7:00 p.m. on February 9th. Ribbon. So we have happy times, festivities, a formal occasion, a symbol of hope, feminine beauty. Now, this is where things get a little interesting. She did want to have a good time. She did kind of want to numb her turbulent emotions. She wasn't quite sure where she wanted to go, but she knew she needed to get away because she just felt like she needed an emotional break. So she wanted to have festive times. And I suppose this card can mean that she was seen as someone who is, like what the ribbon card says, a symbol of hope or feminine beauty, because she is beautiful. But I don't know. I get it. I feel like it's like the last hurrah. Like that's what I'm hearing Spirit say. Like the last, like the alcohol was going to be a party of some sort, for a party of one, I guess. Now this card doesn't make sense to me, and it's this one. Doesn't make sense. Pop it. Because the keywords are manipulation, brainwashing, having control over someone. Now, this could be some kind of influence that was happening to her in like the months leading to her disappearance. Doesn't necessarily mean anyone had a hand in her disappearance, but they could have had a hand in her emotion, her fragile, or they could have contributed to her fragile emotional state. I don't know. I think she said in the email to her boyfriend that they were having issues, although from what I gather, he's not a suspect in her disappearance and her boyfriend. And it didn't sound like they were grave enough problems where they would be breaking up, but I don't know, right? We don't know that. But I do get a sense with this pop-it card, it says brainwashing or having control over someone feeling that way. And I sense it's her. She's feeling that way. Now, it could be, again, somebody who saw her beautiful self and wanted to spend some time, they wanted to control her or manipulate her. That could be what this pop-it card, I know there is a theory that maybe she ran into a bad actor. She had all these unfortunate events and it led to the perfect storm of encountering someone. Could very well be. But right now I'm not picking up on that yet. We'll see what all the other oracle cards say in this reading before I make a final call. Next up we have the Rat card. A traitor or untrustworthy person. She could have felt betrayed, or someone could have felt betrayed by her, leading in the days, weeks, and months prior to her disappearance. It doesn't necessarily mean she encountered someone. I mean, I suppose it could. The disease card came. Now, isn't that interesting? So the rat has a keyword of dis-ease. Dis-ease, right? D-I-S and then ease. And it's sitting underneath the storm. Could it be that she's had some sort of emotional affliction? Could it be that she had a disease? Could it be that the start of a disease was happening? Disease could be some form of addiction. It could be an actual, disease, not actual, like addiction isn't one, but you know what I mean, like something afflicting the body or the mind or the heart space. There's some, or the organs, right? There could be some sort of disease that she may have found out about that has not been revealed to the public or really even revealed to her loved ones. It could be that she was dealing with something and she felt a sense of betrayal from herself to herself. Does that make sense? I suppose it could represent someone betraying her, but I really don't pick up on that in these cards. We have the Bell card. The Bell card says an awakening, beginning of an end of some important event, a warning. There is a warning that she was on an emotional collision, a disastrous course. And this is not to blame family or to say anything. That's not it at all. This could have been maybe someone who lived near her. Maybe, I don't know if she had roommates or not, or people who attended university with her. They may have seen some warning signs or heard things, maybe her boyfriend, and didn't think much of it at the time. But now, in retrospect, it makes sense, like it was a warning of like what was to come with her. Like she was on a collision course is what these cards are saying here. Some people may be dealing with guilt or blame of others that we may or may not know about related to Maura. Like her family could be blaming certain people in her life or vice versa, or, there's a lot of, it could be blame gaming going on. I also think that this card is a dual meaning card. One, it means about a warning, but it also symbolizes the first keyword, which is an awakening or beginning or end of some important event. What is the important event in her life? What was that? Somehow that date there's something about this time period that has some sort of significance for her. I don't know what, but a beginning or ending of an event. Was she doing something else that could have caused her not to be given good behavior points with law enforcement for her stealing charges, the credit card charges? I don't know. This is all I'm just tapping in, feeling the energies out. But that's, I don't know. What else could have been going on? We'll see if the cards reveal that going forward in the reading. But I think that's something interesting. Because if there's something else that's going on that told on the third month, and what do we know about her? Like she also was on a collision course of using a credit card and not supposed to be doing that and charging restaurant charges. So maybe it's something to do with that. I don't know. We have B. So the B card, hard work. She I'm sure was very hardworking and productive, and having to be a worker bee essentially in her her field of study at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. Worker bee, worker bee, worker bee. So that could be what Spirit is saying. Maybe something was going to potentially affect her good standing with the university. She had fears about that, or emotional turmoil, or maybe she did get the good behavior, or she was going to be up for it, or maybe it was going to be extended, or maybe she did something else. She betrayed herself doing something else in the interim. And she felt really bad about it, even though most people probably could have talked her out of this. Like, look, whatever it is that's got you so upset, we can make it through. It doesn't matter. You can, do something else. We can appeal to the university. We can appeal to law enforcement. I don't know. That's just what I'm picking up here. Lastly, we have the pitchfork card. Rebellion. That's the first key word. Individualism. A violent uprising, conflict. Was she rebelling? Did she rebel some more? And that caused some issues. And so these cards do not really give me a sense of what may have happened to her. It's peculiar to me on a couple of things. They never found her. So if she took her life, typically we would expect to find her remains somewhere, or some kind of evidence of where she last was. That didn't happen. Some people say she walked off perhaps into that forest, and it wouldn't surprise them that she would go, that they would never find her. So that could be what happened. And she could have went in that forest with the intention of just trying to escape, trying to get away from her problems. And then she perished, and no one was looking for her. There could have been snow after snow, weather conditions. I don't know if that area gets, rising waters or floods or some other kind of conditions, and time just went on. But one would still expect to see bones. I don't know. That's the part of the mystery that stumps me with the whole theory of she, had a mishap, misfortune, misfortune and died, or she took her own life. But strange things have happened. People have managed to disappear. And so far, this is what I'm picking up, is that she was on this collision course, and Spirit wanted us to talk more about all the conditions that were going on with her. Now we'll be looking more into that. Like, I'm going to use this deck here. But after that, we're going to see, okay, well, can we get some clues on what actually happened to her? And yeah, what actually happened here? Because sure, there could be a couple of cards here that lean towards someone else's involvement, but I'm so far not picking up on that. Definitely let me know what you all think about what happened to her in the comment section. All right, I'll be right back. All right, so we're working with the Divine Shadow Self-Oracle. This is surrounding MauraMurray's disappearance. It's always interesting on what Spirit wants us to hone in on or pay attention to for the clues, because it's almost like Spirit's like, no, like what you're seeing is what you're getting with her. Look, first card that flew out, burdens. Burdens. Spirit still wants to talk about that. We have aloof, drug, pull a few more. Insecurities. Look at that. Brainwashed. That came up with the poppet card. It's one of the keywords for the poppet. Cannot imagine that could mean. Bitterness. All right. So we have burdens. Maura was dealing with some burdens, or maybe somebody felt burdened by her, but I think it was her feeling heavily burdened emotionally. I don't know if she was being aloof or cool or dismissive, feeling like to someone else, and they felt that about her, or she felt like they were being that way towards her in her time of need. Could be that. So aloof. It could be that people were aloof to how deep her burdens went or was. So there's that. We have drug. Sometimes the drug card could be physical dragging. Like if she did wander off into the nearby forest and succumbed to the elements, or had another kind of, medical emergency, the animals in the area could have dragged and scattered her about. My apologies for saying it that way. So that's what came to mind when I saw this. Now, of course, this card can mean some sort of drug, like something to be intoxicated with, right? It can mean that. So I don't know how that would come into play. There was no reports that I saw of her experimenting or dealing with drugs. But, alcohol some people would classify it as some sort of, it's an intoxicant, is a drug. Some people I've heard even say it is that. So it could be that. That was at play here. Made her oblivious to the dire situation that she was in terms of her physical safety, being in the elements, being out wandering off. Some people think that she was hitched, like she got hitched. What is it? She was hitchhiking and went away. Perhaps. We'll see what my Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle reveals. But again, nothing pointing directly to that. Maybe with the exception of the Poppet and Brainwash and Rat card. Maybe it also could be someone she worked with that's more in the know with the B, with this Mildred's Pain Secret Pocket Oracle card, the B card. It could be maybe there's someone who knows more about her burdens, knows what she was dealing with, the level of insecurities she was facing about her future. The Brainwash card could also be she was brainwashing her own self into thinking that, she had no options, or this is, the end. She had a lot of insecurities of, what they call imposter syndrome. Maybe this is somebody else around her who had insecurities imposed onto her. Could be that, but I feel like this is coming from her. And then we have bitterness. A bitter pill to swallow is what comes up. Bitterness, bitter pill to swallow is like, she's not where she wants to be. She's, every time she turns around, she's messing up. There's something that was going on emotionally that she was fretting over about something coming to light. Something she did, something that she didn't do, but likely something that she did. And it was going to set her on a path of destruction, of her life blowing up in her, in her mind. And it was causing her emotional distress. All right. Okay, so we're going to use the Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle. We're just going to get a 1 to 3 cards. Get a pulse on things, not convolute the energies, just see what direction we need to go in. We have nothing to lose. Okay. Boat. Is there a body of water near there? Trying to sew away. Look, water. Okay, we're going to stop here because I said I wanted 1 to 3 cards, and that's what we're going to do. So we have nothing to lose. Who had nothing to lose? The person who could have caused her to disappear? Sure, that's absolutely a possibility. But we also have to look at Maura. Does she feel like she had nothing to lose? It feels like, at first I was like, oh, maybe she's near or in a body of water, like her remains are somehow now in an area that after all this time has got a body of water near or even above it. That happens over time. She's been missing for a long time now. The landscapes, the geography, the topography changes over time. But I also get that this is metaphorically speaking. Someone felt like they were skating by, barely making it by on this boat. And then it almost looks like this person is like, this is emotional, like being submerged. Drowning, perhaps? Nothing to lose. I have heard of people losing their life to drownings, intentional or non-intentional. Obviously, drownings are typically accidental, but they can be intentional, where someone chooses that way of taking their life. So we'll stop there with this row. Next row. 1, 2, 3 cards. We have denial, child or children. Let's pause for a moment, take the messages in. So we have denial. Somebody could be in denial about what their child was going through up here. Or a child, you know, Maura was somebody's child. Maybe people who were closest to her were in denial about, you know, how underwater she felt in life. This row here, though, if we look at it like from the denial, child, and man, it could denote something to do with, and I don't know this. This is not saying she was pregnant or anything like that, but a man denying her, her being emotionally upset about that. Maybe there was some sort of disagreement about a child or children. Perhaps there was somebody who felt like they were being treated like a child, or some kind of denying of a child or denying of something related to a man doing that, or her, you know. It's just an interesting dynamic going on here. Denial, child, man. Maybe a male relative is in denial about her feeling underwater emotionally and feeling like she has nothing to lose. It also could be a man, you know. We did earlier get the rat card and brainwash. Maybe it's not even her boyfriend, maybe it's someone else, but I got a sense she was being faithful to her boyfriend. So maybe there was something going on emotionally with them in this row. Some people would, you know, and we all want to speak in alleged terms. Some people would say, well, maybe this is to do with him. Maybe people need to look at his alibi again. What is up with his alibi? Does he have one? I thought I heard that he did have an alibi. And that's why no one suspects that no one has openly expressed that he had anything to do with her disappearance. So, you know, there's that. So it could be somebody else, but I don't know. I think that's an interesting row here. And these cards could also talk to each other too. Nothing to lose. Someone was in denial about someone having nothing to lose, or someone was in denial about having nothing to lose and then coming to terms with they are sinking. And, you know, yeah, they're sinking. And children and man. Not quite sure what these are saying here. You all let me know what you think of that pops up in your intuitive mind. Okay, so let's do another row. Another row for MauraMurray. Truth revealed. Swamp. More watery, murky emotions. Body of water. Bank records. Okay, let's stop. Take these in, zoom out so you all can see them. Okay, so we have truth revealed, swamp, and bank records. The truth revealed, this tells me that some kind of truth was about to be revealed, that she may have been in denial about, And she, this is what led to her feeling like she had nothing to lose. There was something coming out that indicates that, she was in a dire situation. Like her records, I wonder what else her bank records revealed in the months preceding, in the days, weeks, and months preceding her disappearance. What else was going on? Or a bank of records. It could be her academic records or her work performance records, but bank records, a swamp, a murky situation that was about to be revealed. She felt underwater and felt like she needed to do something. And now we go back to, is there a body of water near the area of where her vehicle was last, or where her vehicle came to rest in the snowbank? Is there a nearby body of water in that forest area? I'm sure they probably, and I don't know this, but I'm sure, they have probably, what did they do when they search or they drag the bodies of water? I don't know if they did in that area or not, but that would be interesting. So, truth revealed, something about to come out, did come out, like in the days leading up to her, she was worried that something was about to come out that she had been denying, or someone had been denying around her. Okay. Last row from the Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle. Okay. Drowning. Wow. Out of town. Government or military. Okay. Interesting. Let me scoot these down. And drowning. That's what I'm getting a sense of. That's why I think Spirit wants to keep talking about water elements here. We got that with the very first Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle card. We got the Storm card. That's water, stormy emotions, turbulent times, dangerous times. And we got boat, water. Even this man is sitting near, with water behind him. I look at all of those things. We've got the swamp card. So we know that we're dealing with the murky emotional situations, very dense emotional times for her. She had troubled emotions. There's just a lot going on. Drowning. She felt like she was going underwater. We talked a lot about this. Although this could very well mean this is what happened to her. Her cause of death. Out of town. She was out of town, right? Or headed out of town, at least. I think she made it out of town. Intentions to get out of town. Remember, she wanted to go in and, drown her sorrows and end up being in a situation of a point of no return. What's sad is that I don't think this was necessarily something where she wanted to take her life. I think she did experience some misadventure. Some people would say, well, maybe a man she encountered caused her to drown in a body of water nearby. A man who lives on a boat could be. I won't rule that out. However, I do get a sense that that's not what happened. I think that she didn't get very far. She was inebriated by the time she got out of the vehicle. She somehow made her way to a body of water. I don't know if there's rivers or a raging creek nearby or something with some moving water. I have to look at the map, and I will. But nevertheless, that's what I'm picking up on. She was out of town. She could have potentially been saved. had, military, not military, it says government or military. This could be those who searched for her, initially searched. There was something ineffective, or they were limited in how their ability to search for her properly. They could have possibly found her, or, found to where she went, and this all could have been solved. I even dare to say possibly the timing could have been such that she may have even been saved. But that didn't happen. And as time went on, well, she's gone. She's not in the original area that she was originally missing from. There's some kind of body of water involved here, is what I'm picking up on. And I'll have to look at the map because she didn't get very far. Some people will think that, well, maybe she did get picked up by a hitchhiker, someone who betrayed her trust. We see that here with the boat, which is like a vessel, somebody from out of town. I could see that too. So if some of you have that theory, I wouldn't rule it out based on with this reading. But my intuitive hunch is, as I said before, it's a combination of the perfect storm, misadventure. She got into yet another collision that speaks to her state of emotions and her mental state. It also, just there's some indication that she was dealing with some insecurity surrounding her drinking, and then feeling a way about her sister who had just got out of rehab and who had relapsed. And here she was consuming a drug, alcohol. And so she wanders off, gets off into an area that has some sort of water. And due to lack of effective searching for her, or some sort of lack of response, then we have blood on their hands. It's like, I don't want to say her life was on their hands, but there could have been some sort of intervention of finding her and at least providing some sense of closure for her family in a more timely fashion. Yeah. So that's what we're going to stop here. I'm going to sit with these cards for a bit. I may or may not come back and do another reading on Maura's case. I feel like I have a sense of what may have happened here. And yeah, that's what I'm sensing here. And I don't know if it warrants me to continue pressing and going further into more readings. But if you all think of some questions that you think would be great for a future reading on Maura's case, please leave it in the comment section down below, and then we can revisit her case in the future. Okay? I'm so sorry to her family for having to, first of all, experience their loved one, Maura, being missing all these years with minimal answers, ineffective search, just being left like wide open, like not even understanding. Like it's like they can't really fully move forward because there's this chapter that can't be closed because there's so many, loose ends. So their major loose end is the loss of Maura's, whereabouts, and no one seemingly having the answers. And my heart goes out to them. I'm so sorry. All right, friends, that's it. Please, on your way out, do me a favor. Hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Going forward in the next few Mystery Mystic readings, what I'm planning to do is revisit some cases, either that have cases that ended up being solved or going to trial, cases we've covered, revisiting them and checking in on what's going on, as well as maybe doing some revisit readings on cases that are still unsolved today that we covered on Mystery Mystic readings. So definitely you want to check those out. I'm also planning to do a Maritime Mysteries video very soon. There was a disappearance of a mom and 2 young boys that came on my radar, and I'm feeling called to do a Maritime Mysteries reading surrounding it. So y'all stay tuned, okay? Please take very good care of yourselves. I'll see you all around. Bye for now.